Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to David Bell's Tang Show. I am Master David Bell. Tonight, I am just extremely excited. After, I guess, 7 years of this show, this is one of my most exciting nights. I have the privilege and the honor of having a special guest on this show with me tonight. 7th degree black belt from Australia, Master Stephen Washington. Now, Master Washington and I became good friends. I think we met 1992.
That's correct.
At a world championship. We both belonged to the same organization at that time, the World Tang Association. And we would meet up every 2 years for our world championship. And I had the privilege of, closing the school here in Fremont down in 2003, February, and just take a trip to the South Pacific. And I visit with Master Washington and his wife there, his family, and shared a lot with his students. And they shared a lot with me. And this is just incredibly exciting for me to have him here in the city of Fremont. He's been working out with my students, and we've just been having a good time. So tonight, we're going to do this show, and there's a couple of points that we want to kind of cover, but the main point, and he's going to tell you about our little difference. It's kind of the same outcome we look for, but we have kind of opposites approach, and he'll tell you about it. But tonight I'm just excited. And right now, Master Stephen Washington.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you for being here. In the introduction, did you want to go into a little bit about the approach down in Australia?
Certainly, I can elaborate a little bit on that for you. Down in Australia and the Asia-Pacific regions, I do look after, as you know, New Zealand, Fiji, Indonesia and Malaysia, as well as the continent of Australia. We are all pulling together to share our traditional values with the people all around the world, all Tang Soo Do practitioners worldwide. And that's why it gives us great pleasure in coming over to Fremont to visit our friends once more, who we've known since 1992, to share our different experiences together and to learn from one another. We'd like also, at this present time, to try and give information between all the schools from all around the world, so that our teachings go back to our roots and that everybody is sharing their knowledge and their activities together in the true spirit of friendship which Tang Soo Do was formed all about.
Master Washington, if you would, let's take a kind of a step backwards. I'm not sure whether I gave you your proper due in your background. In this, Master Washington and I are pretty close in age. I've been in martial arts about 30 years, and I have what I feel like a pretty in-depth background. Master Washington, every time I talk to him, it's so interesting. There's just so much more. How about you share a little bit of your history in the martial arts, and let us know a little bit more about you.
Well, in my younger youth, I served in the military. And my first contact with the martial arts was in self-defense within the military systems. And through the system, I was introduced to Shotokan with Tanaka Sensei. I continued in the Shotokan system for 3 years, obtaining my black belt in the Shotokan system. Moving from state to state in Australia, we found that when we moved into South Australia and Western Australia, there was no Shotokan systems. I found a new master, a gentleman called Master Kim, SH Kim, who I trained with for many years in the system. That was back in 1972. And I've been with the Tang Soo Do system ever since. I travel extensively through China. I hold a level 7 in the Wushu systems. I hold a 3rd degree black belt in the Shotokan system. I also hold a 4th degree in Hapkido. I've been lucky enough to train with some of the best in the world. Some people have heard of a lot of them, others have heard of none, because they're very humble instructors in their own right. One of my latest instructors was from the World Tang Soo Do Association, which was Grandmaster Shin Chaichul, who I served on the board of directors for nearly 15 years with that federation.
Very prestigious background. You know what year you started martial arts?
I started the martial arts in the beginning in 1966.
Wow.
At the age of 16.
You want to go into now maybe in my community, I guess after doing, we have about 71, 72 episodes of this show. I've been teaching here in Fremont now for 12 years, just locked in 12 years, and practicing martial arts 30 years, like I say. It's kind of taken me into 2 other arts that are very profound, and I've kind of, it just kind of like interlocks with the Tang Soo Do. My basic background is martial arts, Tang Soo Do, but since I started about 6 years ago, I was introduced to the art of yoga. I've always done stretching. We've always, had preparation, preparing the body for training martial arts. But about 6 years ago, I was introduced to the art of yoga, and now I have a yoga class. So it just works well to know more about the body and how to stretch, and then about that same time, I always understood that we had this energy, but it didn't, our martial arts system didn't give us a breakdown of it as so far as meridian lines and how the energy actually travels. But I was lucky enough, just extremely lucky to be introduced to a Chinese master that just studies energy, and he's a healer. So I've been doing seminars and studying more into that aspect of the art. So now I have Tang Soo Do, yoga, and Qigong. Have you found, like any other arts, or has it taken you into any other areas in training so much? Have you found in this, in your personal training, has it kind of introduced you or forced you to, not actually force you, but you look at, other areas or other arts? Or?
Of course, yes. Especially the yoga and the Qigong systems. We need that calming influence in our lives. I personally, as you know, Master Bell, come to you now and again to calm me down, because I'm a very active martial artist. My energy levels are quite high. I'm still training and teaching 8 to 10 hours a day on the floor 6 days a week, and also travelling and giving seminars throughout the Southeast Asia regions. So I found that very beneficial to my well-being, to be able to try and calm myself down. I think it enhances our martial arts. We need this other side of the Omyang, as we were talking earlier today in the studios. We are the Omyang. You've got that calm influence over people, where I've got that energetic personality, which is go, 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 and there's no stop. So yes, we do need the both, especially now myself, I'm starting to get a bit older. I need to look at different avenues to keep my fitness and my health to its peak.
Now, you spoke, I heard you tell my students, and you just spoke about the Yang of us, the calmness, the aggressor. Elaborate a little bit more on that for it.
Well, it's if we can elaborate quite nicely on that side. I was watching you in your classes, how you try and calm your students down. If they do something wrong, you talk to them in a nice, calming, influential manner. Whereas myself, they do it wrong, it's push-ups, sit-ups, 2-kilometre runs. I was taught on the old school system, and it still influences me a lot in my teachings, even though I must admit I am starting to take the calmer side. Whether I stop the push-ups, the sit-ups and the long runs, I don't know, because I've been introduced to that all my life. But to come and watch the Onlyang work together as we did in class the other day was quite amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think, for me to elaborate, because, we are growing a little older. I think it kind of, at this point, will kind of take us into our next little section, which would be, what do we want for our communities and for our society, I think with my training now, with society today, people don't understand. Some people look at the martial arts and it's a fighting art. Well, we don't necessarily live in a fighting society, that's kind of not, the fight is very strong. And you got an extremely impressive background, and just, I was explaining to my students the other day, it's 48 ways to take somebody down, or counter, but we have families and little kids, and our approach. What are we trying to get across, to the families? I have my, what I'm trying to do, and what I try to portray to the community, and in my approach. How do you say it? What do you say about that? What do you try to get across?
I think in different ways, we're aiming for the same path.
Right.
With us, it's fitness, health, dedication, and a strong bond of friendship. As you said, that fighting arts, as we know today, and martial arts is known as a fighting art, is only in the sense to protect yourself.
Right.
We have a commitment to our students to make them healthy, strong, and wise, but also a commitment that if they need that martial arts as a backup system, it should be there for them. This is why I personally go into this side of the arts, not because of any reason to teach a person to fight. Actually, a person who knows how to fight never does. They've got the common sense to walk away from that fight.
And I think that's one of the things too, that when a person come into the school and interested in the art, I found myself addressing so many different issues in people's life. I think I'm looking now, my major objective is to try to give a person a strong art system, whether it's the fighting art or yoga, but the sense and the balance, the ability to calm down and bring the mind, body, spirit together. That way I can promote health. I can promote a calm person, a person that's more alert. And I think, as the way I see myself going, I think what I'm trying to do is take the person, put him in charge of his health by the decisions that he makes, how he takes care of himself, just the choices that he makes in his life. We're so bombarded with such a hurry-up society right now. And our health is, in this country, I don't know about Australia, obese kids, everything is fast food, TV dinners, and hurry up. And we're putting our health we have kids ADD, adults ADD, there's no sense of balance. And I think, our arts are so thorough and so strong, they could just go in any number of directions.
I understand where you're coming from. Basically, yes, Australia's going down the same way. We're living in a throwaway society. But what we don't really see in our throwaway society is we're throwing away the good values, the traditions, and most of all our health plans. We always look at, is it the food, what we eat, is it the nutritional programs we go on to? Do we get enough walking? Do we get enough running? We look at these things, but the thing is, what we've got to manage more than anything else is our time, our schedules. Because without our health and our fitness, then we're not going to get the things in life what I really needed. I travel around the world extensively, and I look at different dietary programs. I look at basically the Western cultures where everybody rides in vehicles, where in the older days we'd walk everywhere. No, they won't walk to the corner shop. So how are we going to get ourselves into these fit areas without having mentors or programs running for us to help us do this? And this is where I run different and many varied programs, not just the martial arts, to try and get fitness. We take them out on beach runs, on beach walks. We take the corporate sectors out, and we go into the corporate environment of showing them how to exercise before they start work. We've had a lot of successful programs with this, and they come back to the martial arts for a working knowledge, not of the art itself, but how to put a program together for themselves for that year for their fitness program. And this is where we can help them.
I think in the martial arts, just these arts are so strong and so structured. Let's see, structure. I have the little kids come in now. The kids starting to understand the word structure, and they're not afraid to use it. And they'll go a step further and even talk about discipline. You know, a kid talking about discipline, understanding the importance of having structure in their life. And I think if there is any message that I give to the parents, kids and adults as well have dreams, you know, and a lot of times the dreams is, they want to know, how do I get toward that dream? And so I try to teach them, you know, understand this word structure and discipline. It's not, you know, punch upside the head, or it's not go to your room and lock down. It's just like structure your life and have your dream, and then that's your goal. If you have your dream, then you start a plan. And this is what I try to give to the parents, not water the dream down. Let them dream, understand what structure would do to get toward that. We could sit and just really this is just too huge for me. I mean, 30 years for me, that's why I have to quiet down. I have to quiet down, because this is an incredible place in life.
I agree, and when you do talk about structure, we have to structure our own families first. And the major structure is finding time to sit down with our children and with our wives or husbands at dinner table, sitting down, taking time out, reading a book together, throwing a ball together. Because if you act as a family unit, your structure will start coming by itself. But we live in such a fast society, Australia, the UK, many other places. We're so busy gathering for our own self-needs that we forget the ones who are closest to us. And we've got to go back to basics.
You remember how you got into martial arts? You remember what brought you to martial arts all those years ago?
Well, yes, I really do, yes. As I say, I was in the military, and I went in as a by-entrant originally, and I couldn't look after myself. I looked into the areas of going in and fighting for a country, and I couldn't fight and look after myself. So I looked for a more of a confident way of being able to look after myself, not necessarily fighting, but self-protection, self-preservation. Going into an armed forces, which was huge for a young boy to go into. And through the martial arts, I found a sense of belonging, just like as in the military. We had our own areas where we used to train, get together, work out our problems. We had no family to fall back on. We had to work out our own systems. So the martial arts give me a different bonding with the people I was with. So we became a family within a family.
I tell the story about my training and how I got in, and my students just crack up because I was a DJ for 10 years. And I was always in I was in the clubs. I actually got into martial arts to learn how to fight because I was always in the place where there were fights. I was fortunate enough to get with an instructor that was traditional, Master Leak from South Carolina. And he looked at me and he's, it's okay, I'll teach you this system, but in learning this system, you're going to find out so many things about yourself. So by the time I got to the place where I actually could fight, I had quieted down enough, or I had cleared up enough to understand that it wasn't the fight that I really needed. I just needed to clean up my life a little bit. And that's when, 10 years of a DJ, I walked away from it. And never really looked back on that. And I tell my students now about that, and it's hard to believe. This guy, a DJ in the club. But that kind of goes with the whole idea of structure. I could do a lot of things, but I didn't really have a good balance within myself. And the martial arts gave me that. It gave me that time out to really look at this guy, look at this man inside, and never really look back.
I can understand where you're coming from. I've got the same stories in my students, and I am still quite fast with my hands and feet. And you can tell your student through constant years of practice and practice and practice. But sometimes I look back and I think why I'm so fast with my hands is when you upset your wife and they start throwing things at you. Your self-defense system of pots and pans and things being thrown at you comes out pretty quick. And I'm fast with my feet because I can run quicker and she can't catch me. I tell that to my students and they think that's hilarious. But the thing is that if you tell them it takes you 39 years to practice every day of your life, whatever we do, they just can't comprehend that. And it's our lifestyle. It's not, even though it's an art, it's a personal lifestyle. It's a path we've chosen. And to be the best we can, we have to train hard, we have to study hard, and we have to pass on our knowledge to the ones behind us. So we've got a duty to all of those who follow behind us to give them what they need in their lives so they can carry on the traditions of the art for us.
Mr. Washington, you watched a lot of martial artists around the world. And today, 2005, where do you see it going? I mean, and I want to be a little specific. You're one of what I call one of the true martial artists. You have a big following yourself, and you're a true martial artist. You practice every day, But in general, we look at corporate America, capital America, and you're probably looking at the same thing in Australia. How do you think that's preserving the essence of the art? Where do you see it? Are you looking at the majority of the art being watered down for money, or are you still finding good martial artists to study with? Or just what do you see right there?
In today's society, we do need this corporate part of the martial arts. As you know, without insurance policies and the building costs and ongoing costs, we do need to start charging for the services we provide. But it's how we charge for these services. I find extortionate on some people's halves. We look at it that I do a program, Master Bell, where we take in of our studios 20 children every year. They don't pay for uniforms, they don't pay for the fees. We take them off the streets and we give them a feeling of belonging. After that 12 months, if they can continue with us, fine. If not, we'll take another 20 in. All of my studios do this. I think if you're going to go into that corporate sector, then you've got to give back as well. You have to give back to these children and even the adults and the intermediate sector to help them understand. It's a two-way system. Within our corporations, what bring in lots of money, some millions plus, that's good if that's the way they want, but they've got to keep in touch with the essence of the art itself. Not just, look at me, I can put you on a program for 3 years, and it's going to cost you $6,000 or $7,000. I personally don't do that. Our fees are paid by the month. If a child can't make it or they have stress in getting their payments to us, then depending on the situation, we waiver that payment. So we don't want to cause anybody. Martial arts wasn't really structured for the money in the first place. It was a health and fitness.
Right. This has been one interesting little half an hour.
Well, time's gone quick.
We'll probably continue this maybe in a second half or part 2.
Well, I hope to.
This is a real treat for me to have you here and introduce Fremont to a person that I consider true martial artist.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Washington,
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
it's a pleasure for me.
Thank you.
I'd like to just extend to Fremont quite a treat for us to have such an artist among us right now. We're probably going to do a part 2 of this series because I don't know when we'll have a chance to do this again.
Hopefully in Australia.
Yeah. Okay. But thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'm Master David Bell in the Tang Soo Do Show.